Hi guys, Sunday blessings. I'm just coming on to do the tarot and oracle review videos for you all. God, I'm just looking at myself in the video. I was going to say the mirror in the video. I'm bloody putting on a lot of weight here. It's not good. It's the energy of lockdown. Thank God we're nearly out of it, so I'll be able to sort of get out and about a little bit more. Hopefully stay trim a bit more. That's my goal. So the deck that I'm going to be showing you this week is the Magical Nordic Tarot, and this is by Jayne Wallace. Now we have seen one of her decks before. I showed you the Crystal Power Tarot deck a while ago, and it's from the same kind of, it's the same sort of setup really, or design. Now it's created by Seco Books, so their little logo is on the back there, okay. And I'm just seeing what else it sort of says here, if it says anything else. So this lady that has designed this lives in Essex in the UK, and she's been a professional clairvoyant since the age of 17, so that's pretty cool. Oh, it says here she's also the author of Crystal Power Tarot, which is the one I've shown you, Oceanic Tarot and the Angel Tarot, which I haven't got those other two yet, but I'm sure I might sort of showcase those to you in the future. So let's open this little bad boy up and take a little look inside. So it's a lovely box. I do love the box with this particular deck, and it just pops out on the side. He says, easier said than done. They're a little bit tight sometimes. So get that off. There we go. And then what you've got on the inside is you've got the book, and then you've got the cards themselves. So, oops, the book's really nice because it's a lovely sort of big book. Great sort of book in the sense you've got all this colour, really well produced actually. Loads of stuff in there. So we'll look a little bit more at that shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to pull out the actual cards themselves, making sure I get just the cards and not everything else. That's the only slight negative thing with these. This is a little bit cheap and flimsy, so you get the whole lot kind of coming out, but I think it's okay. Okay, so sorry, I'm just reading the back of that box there. So what we have with these cards, we have the lovely artwork on the back, as you can see. Beautiful, stunning artwork. And then each card we have what it actually is, and then we have a little piece to it. So like we've got here King of Swords, and this just says structure. So I quite like that. So I'm going to just sort of work through, show you a couple of these. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I just want to show you enough of these so that you can take a look, you can see how they're made up and how they work. So we've got like the Hierophant here, and we've got knowledge. I quite like that there's a basic keyword with these cards as well. Oh, I haven't talked about this stock quality. I will say, unfortunately, a little bit negative. These are very flimsy. So the stock quality, they're a gloss finish, that's quite nice. Stock quality isn't particularly great. They're really sort of thin. So if you were using these all the time, I would question how long they would last. So that's just something to be a little bit careful of, a little bit more mindful of. I love the artwork to these though. The artwork is quite basic in some ways, but it's also powerful. I think these are quite cool actually. And a friend of mine actually had this deck, and that's how I kind of came across it. And I thought, wow, that looks pretty interesting. I feel like I need that. So it's quirky kind of artwork. This is a great deck if you're new to tarot. I think this would be a good introduction deck. So I think it would be quite nice. You could really use this to your advantage. I think it's a really cool deck. The artwork is simple enough to understand, and it's got traditions of Rider-Waite, but it's not over complicated, you know. And like I say, I love the fact they've got a keyword, so like the Hangman, and it just says there limbo. So you've got additional pieces of information you can actually work with. So this would be a really great deck to work with as a beginner deck, and also great for the more established reader. So it's an all-round sort of deck really. So really sort of great to be sharing it with you actually. So I'm just going to sort of show you enough of these cards. I don't want to show you too many, but I do want to show you enough so that you can see and get an idea. And obviously we've got, you know, the sort of Nordic theme running throughout, as you can see, with kind of like modern sort of day artwork. So there's the twist of the old and the new, which I quite like actually. I think that's pretty cool. So lots that you can sort of take from the images themselves, as well as obviously the traditional meanings and the deeper values. So it is a really sort of fun, it's a playful deck, I see this one as. Now there is an additional card in this deck which was sort of mentioned on the back of this box, or on the front actually. It says featuring a special commission card by artist Tracy Emin, which it just says there, and this is said card. So it's clarity, and it just says generosity. So that's just a random one that's come in off the cuff, off the back. I'm not entirely sure why they've put that in there, but you know, it's nice to have. It's always a welcomed addition. It doesn't look like it goes with the rest of this artwork, so whether this is just, I don't know, a play around idea. I'm not sure exactly how this kind of came about and was featured in the rest of that, but I'm sure that there's somewhere in the book or somewhere within this deck that will become kind of clear. Now, the thing I don't like so much with this is where we go a little bit negative. These kind of like pentacles and suit cards are a bit boring. You know, we almost lose some of the sort of magic of these, because literally they're all just plain pentacles. And whilst they're good cards and everything else, and you have like an additional word, there isn't so much to work with like visually, so that might be a little bit of a problem for some of you that are just starting out. That might make you have to really work a little bit harder with understanding what that's about, you know. And that's why I prefer some of the visualization of the Rider-Waite tarot, because you still have an understanding and an idea, whereas this is very kind of just like, if this is your introduction to tarot, you might be a little bit like, well, what's actually going on here? So that's just something to be a little bit careful of, a little bit more mindful about when you're sort of looking at these. If you're somebody that knows how to read tarot, it's not really going to be a problem, because obviously you'll just be able to transfer it all over and you'll know what you're doing. But I wish, where we're going into the court cards and they've kind of got like additional images for the court cards, I kind of wish they would have kept that running through. So like here, Page of Pentacles, I just kind of really wish they would have kept with that for the others. It's almost like it becomes a little bit secondary. So that's just a slight negative thing that I don't like about it, which is a real shame, because the artwork is really nice otherwise. But it is a bit of a shame they didn't sort of run that completely through. And that kind of continues then into the Ace of Cups, or into the Cups I should say, and sort of so on. So I'm not going to show you all of those, because you know, they are just suit cards, and again, they're a bit what they are. You've got, again, the Queens and the Kings coming in here, so I'll show you those. So these are really nice, but like I say, I wish they had carried that on through, because then back into suits and wands, you know, quite basic. But that's hard to work with in terms of giving you something to read there, you know. So yeah, a little bit of a shame. Back into the Queen, and again, at least you've got something a bit more solid you can sort of work with those cards. And it's the same for the Swords. Again, they're all sort of following the same format, so just to be a bit kind of careful of those, really. So that's the only slight negative I think with this. But that's the deck in its entirety. So as ever, I'm going to give these a good old shuffle and sort of see what we need to know about for this Sunday and also for the coming week ahead. What I do like with this is, which I think is really lovely, good tarot size, not too big but not too small, so they glide really nicely in the hand. I like the size of these. I'm not sure if I mentioned like the artist. Trying to see who the artist is by, because I know that obviously we've got you know, we've got Jayne Wallace there as the author, but I'm just seeing if it says who the artist is. Okay, illustrated here by Davies, so that's really important to mention her illustrations. Davies is the actual artist. So yeah, I don't know if there's any pictures of her in the book. We'll have a look in a sec. Okay, let me just give these a good old shuffle because they're still a little bit mixed up in their suits. So I just want to make sure we've got all of those. Oops. That's the only thing I don't like. They keep falling apart a little bit because they're not the strongest stock quality. It's like having a load of sort of photographs and they're all sort of merging a little bit into each other. So, you know when you've got like a big old clump of photos and sometimes they slip and slide everywhere? It feels a little bit like that. Okay, let me just see. Nope, that doesn't feel right. I'll know when it does because one will come out on its own, like that. Okay, so 7 of Swords. Oh, this is really interesting, guys. Be careful with this card. So we've got Betrayal coming in. That's the key word. And then we've got 7 of Swords. So maybe we've got a little bit of a warning message this week coming in. So because sometimes tarot does give us warnings. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so I'm just going to look into the book and just see what we've got on offer. So this is nice. So there's an introduction to sort of tarot in general and the way this is all kind of been born. Some spread options, which are really nice. I love the unity of all of this. So this is a very well presented book. And this is why I think it would be perfect if you wanted to sort of, you know, use it as a learning book. And then pretty much it is straight into the cards. I was wondering if there was going to be any information about the author or the artist, but there isn't really anything as such, because we are literally like straight into the cards. So that's fine. So what we've got here then for 7 of Swords, so they're all kind of like in their suits and there's a small chunk or a small section for each. So it just says here, oh, I'm just going to put this out. So keywords for 7 of Swords, so for our message for this Sunday and obviously for the week ahead. Bullying, victimization, disconnection and loss. So be very careful, guys, this week. The 7 of Swords is the Tarot's Thief card. It can symbolize anything from a co-worker stealing your ideas or taking credit for your work to a needy friend or family member who constantly robs your energy and time. It encourages you to trust your instincts when it comes to others, as there could be a snake around you. Shady behaviour from bosses and co-workers can be expected, and a secret shared with a friend may be exposed too. A meddling family member or interfering busybody could test your patience, and a friend or partner's honesty may be questioned as well. So it is literally a warning card. Now, we could look at this obviously as well. I was laughing a little bit when I actually felt this card, as we could look at this off the energy of the government situation. And I know they've sort of told us when we're going to potentially be out of lockdown and everything else, but I was almost having my spirit guides whispering, saying it could be the energy of the government and Boris Johnson actually giving us these set times and then having to change those or going back on stuff. So again, that could be a betrayal there. So I think this is not to be taken too seriously in the sense of don't go looking for it, but definitely be aware of it. So if you get any shady behaviour, like the book says, I like that's quite a nice direct message. It's an easy to understand message, so I really like that actually. Just be careful this week, guys. Don't sort of allow yourself to be victimized by anything or anyone. So have your wits about you. So a very interesting card to show this week. So overall, I think this is a lovely little deck actually. I think overall, despite some of the, you know, the cards which I'm a little bit unsure about, like with these suits, I don't think it sort of detracts too much from it all. I think this is probably an 8 or a 9. I do love the artwork. I don't like the card sort of quality. I think that lets it down a little bit. And I'm a little bit unsure about this box, because I think sometimes what happens, like now I've put those in, but some of those cards you probably can't see, but some of them have fallen straight down, so they're not actually, if I was to then pull these out, see what happens, oops, is we've got some additions that have slipped down the side. Can you see those? So I'm not overly so keen on that, because you know you want to make sure that when you're reading tarot you've got the whole deck that you're actually kind of working with there. You don't want to be sort of left with any that you're missing. It's a good job that this thing kind of comes out, so then you can just literally check. So I'm not entirely sure if that works. So probably the book has to go in first. The book is amazing. The book is a really good quality, lovely matte finish, full colour. Like I say, I can't really say anything bad about the book. I'm going to put the book in first, because I'm hoping by doing that these cards will just stay in a little bit more easier, a bit nicer. And then hopefully, yeah, that's better. So they're all going back in, they're not falling down, that's it. So you can see they're all uniformed, everything's as it needs to be. So the trick is, guys, book in first. And then sleeve back over, that's all on, happy days. I love this, like I say, beautiful matte finish, fabulous. Love the fact there's loads of examples of the cards all running down, sort of through, even on the bottom actually, and on the top. So overall, I think this deck is about an 8 or a 9. Definitely one worth getting in the collection. It's the Magical Nordic Tarot by Jayne Wallace, and it's illustrated by Davies with the additional card. I'm just looking on the back of this. I'm going to read this out to you because this is quite interesting. So it just says here, gain new and powerful insights into the meanings of the tarot with this beautiful deck that is inspired by Nordic myths and folklore. Illustrated by Davies, the cards are filled with powerful imagery, from images of spirit animals and rune stones to depictions of the northern lights and tree of life. In addition to the traditional major and minor arcana, the deck features a special commissioned card, Charity by artist. Charity, I thought it was Clarity, but it says Charity by artist Tracy Emin. The accompanying book gives detailed information about each card, including helpful keywords and an inspirational message, as well as explaining how to lay out the cards for different types of reading. Then it just says a brief snapshot here about Jayne Wallace. So it just says, Jayne Wallace is the founder of Psychic Sisters, a team of clairvoyants working from her concessions at Selfridges department store in London. Ooh, didn't know that. Jayne has worked as a professional clairvoyant since the age of 17 and has a monthly column in Fate and Fortune. She is the author, like I said, of Crystal Power Tarot, Oceanic Tarot and the Angel Tarot, all published by CQO Books. She lives in Essex, UK. So fabulous little deck, this one. Like I say, definitely check it out. Have a look. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The Magical Nordic Tarot. Going to leave the energy of that with you. Enjoy it, guys. Stay safe and well. Have a fantastic week ahead. Watch out for those shady behaviours. Don't get sort of caught up in them. And I will speak to you all again very soon. Much love. Bye for now.